Good evening, everyone. Thank you again so much for joining us this evening. This is the Realdealfam Network. I'm Andre. This is, again, my beautiful wife, Essie.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, how y'all doing this evening? We thank y'all so much for coming in tonight and deciding to share some of your time with us and watch the video. If you would, could you please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, as well as hit that notification bell so you can catch some of the upcoming videos we have and you can be the first one to get it. Also, if you look down in the descriptions, you can see some of the previous videos we did, which were absolutely amazing. But tonight we got a topic that we like to dive right into, probably for me and to a lot of people, which is we'd like to term it in-law conflicts.
Conflict with the in-laws.
Either way it goes, it's a problem. But we'll get into our story a little bit as we begin to go into it. I think the first thing that takes place that have to take place is meeting the in-laws. Like I said in the previous video, when I met my in-laws, everything was great. They was absolutely amazing people. We had a dinner over to their particular house. I was invited. They treated me very well. Although they worked me, we had a great time.
Let's just cut to the chase. They heard that story, right? If you haven't heard that story, click down below on how we met and meeting our families. The reason they stopped liking him is because he got me pregnant.
Oh my goodness! Wait, that's for later on in the video.
That's the reason.
Oh,
I was
man.
in college, junior year. Yep, and got me pregnant. And he was had left and went to graduate school. So you wouldn't like your daughter's man either. If that happened to him.
Well, that I guess that can attribute to the whole possibility. Because yes, prior to that, everything was absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and I could sympathize with them, being that most of the time in our communities, you find people get into relationships, and once there's a commitment, like a child become involved, things get a little bit dicey. And sometimes a couple don't stay together, and most of the time, I guess the males tend to run off. And I think her mother and her father was very suspect to me in that respect.
Right, that's what the reason she told me many years later was she had never seen it work out where the man stayed with the woman. They end up, getting married and staying together after they had a child. So that's not out of wedlock story.
It's very true. And like we said, we both were still in college at the time. So you can understand why they would be a little bit apprehensive about the whole thing. As far as my parents, they were a little bit more understanding. They had been through the process before.
Yeah, until we got married, and then it was take my son away from me. What?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I think, so you have two different type scenarios that can create a little bit of conflict. Like my wife said, in my situation with her parents, it was more so we had a child, or she was pregnant, and they were a little bit nervous that they didn't really know me that well to know that I would be committed and stick it out, because it was pre us getting married. And for my mother, it was, I guess you could tell them how things started to get a little dicey for yourself, honey.
With your mom?
Yeah.
Pulling
Be
the
nice.
resources away. His mom is so sweet and nice, and loving and caring and anything that you could ever want. But, I think in a lot of our households, the son is like your second man. He has a stepdad, and sometimes, her needs weren't fulfilled through the stepdad as far as financially or security wise, or just things like that. And so she would use him to fill the gaps, more than the gaps, and so it became a problem. Anyway,
Yeah, that I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can sympathize with that or have some experience with that.
And not to say that you're not supposed to take care of your mother, but it had become, you know what I'm saying, too much.
Anytime you get
man.
when you get a woman that you've always been there for your mom, things can get a little tense until everything kind of shake out and everybody kind of get comfortable with the new relationship and the new dynamics of the relationship.
And he has sisters and nieces and nephews, and everybody need electricity bill, everybody need a phone bill. But I'm like, hey, all these things got to get out this pot. Shoot.
Well, we always been a very close-knit family. We were very sharing and caring, so anything any one of us needed, we was always there for one another. I was, like I said, I was in school, and so I was more free. They had a little bit more commitments than I had at that time, so if I had any resources that was available, I was more than happy to help share with the family. But once you start having your own family, that's when things get a little bit complicated.
Oh, yeah. Once this came around.
Yeah. So, yeah. She became the boss, and so everything had to change then. And
that's because we were a family of unity.
This is true.
And you can't take care of other people's irresponsibilities.
Well, for me, I learned a lot from the whole process, especially when it comes to my own children in the future when they get married or get a spouse, on kind of how to handle the situation, being that me and my wife both went through it from, like we say, from two different perspectives. But from as far as me with her parents and my in-laws, everything smoothed out. All I did was continue to maintain the highest respect for them. I never disrespected, I never argued with them, I never was disagreeable with them. I've just made sure that I stayed.
They were very, very tough on him.
But I stayed true to myself. I knew I loved her. I told her already. I said, I'm not going anywhere.
But we were also a team, so it wasn't just like they bash on him. Like, no, this is my man. And if that's the case, then we're going to go roll together. And we'll work it out, and then they came around later, so. Yeah.
She was absolutely supportive in that fashion. Now, I was a little bit more of a mama's boy, so that created a little bit more conflict on that side. Now, when it came to my wife, she was right there, step in step. So any issues I had with her parents, she supported me 100%. She had my back.
Yeah, and it took many years. Like in the situation with me, I believe that once we're married, we're a team. That's that. Everybody else out on the outside, you have to consult with each other and work it out. It took many years for him to come around when it came to his side of the family. He didn't always check with the boss. Yeah. So it caused problems. And, even though I'm not the boss, but just check with your mate or this,
Right.
And verify maybe they might have some plans or you don't know about or goals that you might want to reach. I would say, having to help a lot of other people, sometimes it can set you back with the goals that you have for your own personal family. Maybe you want to buy a house or, maybe you want to save for retirement or you got a trip you want to go on or, anything. Those things matter.
This is true. And then there was definitely a learning curve for me going into the relationship like that, to that level. Because like I say, me and my family are very close. I love them to death. So anything I got, I do for them. So that was never an issue. But when you get your own family, I mean, you definitely have to consider inside your house first and then work your way outside the house. So once we kind of got on the same page with that, my wife kept telling me, when it comes to my parents, I definitely have your back. So you're going to have to kind of man up in that respect. I know you love your family, but you definitely got to get things under control to where we all can coexist peacefully. And it finally did. And like I say, just like I did.
What made you be able to do that? Because I'm talking, it was like 15 years in a relationship. We still couldn't do it.
Well, yeah, like I said, I was a mama's boy, so it took a little while. But I love my wife. I love all my family members.
I'm saying, What made you be? What was the breaking point?
Did you just hear that was? What did you do? So as a constant pounding, it finally sunk in, and I just had a conversation with my family, and everything kind of smoothed out.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it was.
Oh, Lord.
You know, his family had came up here and not stayed with us, but we were helping out with the household. And so our financial situation was, things weren't wonderful. And so we were struggling, having to help manage 2 households. And so I think I was pregnant with our 3rd child. I was like 8 or 9 months pregnant. I can't remember. And I think they called and was like, can we pay the electricity bill? Because it was too high. But mind you, we were helping to pay rent, helping to pay, all the other past due bill, phone. I mean, help get a car. I mean, like just name it. And that was the absolute last straw. I just broke down crying. I couldn't take it anymore.
Oh.
And that was his turning point. I think he saw it affected me. Like I just couldn't take it no more.
Yeah, that was it. It was
Cause it ain't like we're rich. We just making it. So we're stretched so thin.
Yeah, it was a very tumultuous time, and so it was. I would say for me, like I said, an absolute pivotal point in my relationship and in my life as far as maturation as a man. You definitely have to have your house in order, and you definitely have to have communication, not only with your spouse, but with your family. If you can get all this ironed out and communicate and not walk on eggshells, kind of worried about how everybody's feelings are going to be.
And that's the thing. You can't worry about other people's feelings. You have to make sure you fulfilling your role as a son or a daughter or a cousin or whatever your role is, and that's it. If you feel generous, okay, once or twice, but on a consistent basis, I wouldn't recommend that. You just fulfill your role, and that's satisfying with your relationship within the family. But to step outside of that and to place burdens on your own personal family, that's just too much.
Yeah, it is. You have to find the right balance, like I say, between your family. But through communication and through growth, everybody will come to that point, or the relationship will just dissolve from that point. But fortunately for me, I didn't have that happen. Like I say, we just continued to work through it. My wife hit a breaking point. My family on my mom's side was kind of stressed out. So everybody was kind of in turmoil at that time, so to speak. But like I said, I had to step up, get it handled. Everything got handled. Things started working smooth. Everybody had kind of an understanding how things work.
I don't know if they're understanding. I think everybody was angry at it. Everybody. You're gonna fall out if you're not doing all the financial stuff you used to give and love, and here you go. All of a sudden you are like, the bank. Hey, what you need this loan for? What's going on? Oh, they done got tight now. I can't fool with them no more. And so you just have to learn how to be, happy with not being the most liked person.
Well, you do have to take that into account. Anytime an individual is being responsible, sometimes other people are not being as responsible, so they might not like that very much. They might not like the way you go about handling your business.
Yeah, you got to work hard and be the responsible person, and they get to be able to run off and have fun. That ain't no fun. Nuh-uh.
Well, that's just not, I would say, the American way. Everybody got to pay their dues. So especially if you have a family network, it's very important that everybody carry their weight and try to contribute to the entire family nucleus. And so, like I say, once me and my family got on that page, I'm not sure if the relationship ever was at a point where it's like perfect, but at least everybody have an understanding. You have to be very clear about how you're going about your business. And from that point, I think all our relationships are better. I have a great relationship with her parents. As they can see, our family has grown since the point when I first met her, and they was very apprehensive. They see I like to think they think I'm a stand-up guy at this point.
They do, but that goes to the point of you'd rather have somebody respect you than like you. You know, it's people can like you all day and then run over you still. Oh, I like him. Or I like her, and then treat you any kind of way. But if they respect you, they know better. And then, you know, they might not like you, they might. But at least you got that respect, and you know how you're going to get treated, and that's good.
You heard that. But, yeah, we're doing much better now. Everything's smoothed out. And other folks, I'm sure, done had situations like this, probably even worse, where the family have kind of fell apart and hadn't got back together, people not even speaking. But for me, I wasn't going to have that. My thing is always in life, like I said in one of the previous videos, if you keep respect in the forefront, a lot of things can be accomplished and avoided. And that's what I did, and it worked out great for me. How would you feel about that?
Did it work out great?
In terms of how you feel like you resolved your particular issue.
I feel like you finally got it, and then you was able to resolve it. I couldn't resolve it. I'm not the son, you know. But for me, I think that if I treat you a specific way, I expect you to treat me that way when it comes to your family. That means standing up for, you know, our little nucleus and make sure we're all good. So it took some time, many years, but he finally got there.
Right.
He got back in good grace.
So at the end of the day, if you want to keep your family strong, always keep an open line of communication. Always speak and say exactly what you mean in terms of what everybody's expectations are. So if everybody know what the expectations are and know how you operate, then you won't have these problems. You understand? So that's how we did it. That's how we move forward. I feel very blessed at this moment. I don't feel like I have any problems with my family. I can't speak well, but but yeah.
No, we don't have any problems.
Yeah.
We're very respected, and that's a good thing.
That's it.
That's growth.
And we're going to respect everybody, and we just continue to be blessed. And we, again, thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. I know this was a very interesting video, a very different one.
I'm sure y'all got the same issues.
Every family has its different little issues, but just like us, everybody can get through them. Just keep respect in the forefront, keep love in your heart, and everything will be just fine.
We need to talk about that next time. How does a man be able to be independent from his mother as a single mom?
All right. Well, I guess we got our future video. So I would suggest right now you hit that notification bell,
subscribe,
and hit that thumbs up. And also, please don't forget to leave comments below. We always like to read them, and I love to hear how your family weathered situations like that, and y'all move forward in your life. Again, thank y'all so much for all your support. See you next time.